discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Hey, everybody, it is Wednesday, July the 22nd. Wow. I'm Emerson Collins, and you are listening to The Del and Emerson Show. Straight talk, real gay. And as you can tell, Del Shores is not here, which means that I get to do the mask for mask part and the really gay part all in the intro by myself.
Well done.
So today is an episode of our favorite replacement for Del Shores. Obviously not a replacement because no one can replace Del Shores. But when he's gone, we call it The Gay View. And I have two very special guests, popular favorites here on the show.
Yes.
Blake McIver is here.
Well, hello, Emerson Collins.
Well, hello, Blake McIver. Last week we had Blake on the show and we talked about his amazing new marriage equality anthem song and video that has just been released on YouTube, and Del Shores announced that he wants to include it in the sequel that we are fundraising for, A Very Sordid Wedding.
Hooray! We're very excited.
And in a week it has over 100,000 views.
Yes, we hit the 100K mark.
It's
That's
so good,
exciting.
Blake. It's fantastic. It deserves
Thank
it.
you. Well, and thanks to the show and the platform, we got a bunch of shares that day right after I was on the show.
Yes, and to all of you listening at home who have listened and liked it and shared it, we appreciate that. Keep sharing, and of course the single is available on iTunes.
Yes, it is. And Amazon and all over, anywhere you buy digital music.
So you search Blake McIver, and the title is...
This is who we are.
Because it is. It is who we are.
It's true.
And our
gay.
other special guest for The Gay View, actor extraordinaire Matthew Scott Montgomery.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back.
It's so good to be back.
You just had a show.
I did. I had a show called Dead of July that I wrote and starred in and put up myself. And it was fantastic. I had a good old time.
Standing ovations all around.
Oh, you know it. Yeah.
I have so much respect for that. You know, everybody in LA talks about, auditions and da-da-da. The best thing you can do is create and make your own work, and you keep doing that.
I just want to act. That's all. It's that easy.
That's all.
That's all. Yep.
Well, yay. Well, so Del Shores and I were in Dallas and Fort Worth this weekend meeting with potential investors and had a great weekend. And so we are going to give Del Shores a call, see if we can get him on the line for a minute.
When did you get back, Emerson?
For a minute.
You just got back really late.
Yeah, I got back last night.
Yeah.
So that I could be here for the radio show.
Woo!
Hooray.
And so we are calling Del Shores. He traveled on to Birmingham, Alabama today.
He texted me from Alabama today, and Louise grabbed his phone and sent
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
it's Del
hello.
Shores. Hey, Del Shores.
Hey, how are y'all? We're watching. I'm with Louise Beard, and we're in her office, and we're watching you and listening,
yay.
and I'm in the chat room.
Oh, awesome.
How do we look?
Hey, Louise.
How do we look?
Louise, they say hi.
Yes.
Miss you, Louise. Love you.
So we had a huge weekend in Dallas and Fort Worth. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, we did it, didn't we, Emerson? We had a couple of investor cocktail dinner kind of things. We got some new investors. We are up for A Very Sordid Wedding. We need $1 million to green light this movie, and we are at $850,000
That's
right
awesome.
now, this moment. So all the investors who have come in, thank you so much, and we're hoping for a few more, right?
Yes. we
Indeed.
are trying to shoot this movie in October, and so we need to get the rest of these people on board and complete the budget so that we can start all of the fun parts. But we went ahead and started some of that, and we walked around and looked at a couple of bars for locations for the movie, which made it really real, which is really fun.
Yay.
Woo.
It's some of my favorite things. I love that part of it, don't you, Emerson? Where you start seeing the scenes that are written on the page, and then you go, oh, and they can be right here. The Rose Room is a big location in Dallas, and we have a great little club called Barbara's Pavilions, and Dan has been so good at us in bringing investors, and I think we'll be using that as well. So, yay.
So yeah, it was a fantastic time, and then you're on to Birmingham, and then what do you have going on this weekend?
Well, I am in Birmingham. Thanks to Louise, who introduced me to this wonderful theater company here, Terrific New Theater. And they have brought me in, or Louise brought me in, actually, and I'm donating my time to this theater. I'm doing a show for them, a complete 100% cost benefit. It's like I'm like Mother Teresa of the theater scene. I'm doing my show. They're
Yes,
going to make
God.
some money. I think they have done all of my plays, and it's just my way of giving back. And they're starting their 30th season, and they're opening with Sordid Lives for, I think,
Aw.
There we go. Awesome.
All right, well, great. Well, can people get tickets for that? Is that this weekend?
Yes, go to the Facebook page. Actually, I'm online right now, and I'm going to put both events right this second for Birmingham. So if you're anywhere close, come on. Atlanta's only 2 hours away. Come over and see me. I flew that far today. So come see me, and yes, we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful time seeing Sorted Lives with a Q&A after with me, and then on Sunday night, Singularly Sorted, the show where Republicans are already scared.
As
All
well
right.
they should be.
Well, we're going to let you go because your connection's not great. And people can head to Del Shore's Facebook page to get all the information about his events this weekend.
All right. Looking forward to the rest of the show. We'll talk to you boys later.
Bye-bye
All right,
now.
love
Oh, everybody, the entire studio audience was so excited he was here.
Yes.
Did you notice our goodbye kind of harmonized a little bit?
Yes.
That was really
I mean,
nice.
it's kind of our thing. It's what we do here in the Gay View. All right, well, let's get on to the news because there was so much that happened in all sorts of things in pop culture and
Yeah.
things that I want to hear what you guys think about.
Okay.
We'll kick it off with our equality update. This was really huge news. We talked about what needs to happen beyond marriage equality. And this week, the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which was created to enforce and implement the 1964 Civil Rights Act, ruled that workplace discrimination based on sexual orientation is illegal. This is really important. The ruling states that employers who discriminate against LGBT workers are violating Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which prohibits employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. It's important because this is a new interpretation of the law that wraps sexual orientation into sex discrimination. And it's sort of based on the idea that if you're discriminating against who someone is interested in sexually, that's a sex discrimination because you are reinforcing traditional roles of behavior based on sex. So they're wrapping it in that way. So it basically means that now you cannot be fired for your sexual orientation. Now, it essentially applies first to federal employees, but many of the federal courts use the rulings of this particular commission to guide their decisions in court cases.
Yeah.
So it's a step in moving in the direction that we've talked about of an Employment Non-Discrimination Act nationwide to cover sexual orientation and gender identity.
Love
So it's a really huge step.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Democrats are planning later this week to introduce legislation related to that as well. So that's a really exciting achievement.
Yeah.
And a great energizing beyond the marriage equality fight and moving on to fighting all the things we've been talking about
Yeah.
that now we need to focus on.
It's a great year to be gay.
It is.
It's a really good year to
It
be
is
gay.
a really good year to be gay.
Indeed. But yeah, it's a good first step. It's an important step. It still horrifies me that there are so many states where people can get married on one day and fired the next day just for marrying their partner. Like, that's horrifying. So
Yeah.
the more we work towards getting legislation like this
I
written
even
into
remember
law.
working for Disney Channel at first. I don't know why. I was just like terrified the first like couple weeks that people would find out that I was gay because I thought I would like lose the job somehow. I don't know why, but that was like built into
Yeah.
me. That it was like, and one of my castmates came up to me and we started talking about it, and I told her that, and she was like, "It makes you seem younger, if anything. Like the gayer that you act, it's great." She's like, "Half the writers are gay too," and I'm like, "They are."
Oh, yay! Team gay.
Yeah.
But it is, and it's exciting because it shows that the momentum that marriage equality related is swelling, rather than that was like the peak of the tidal wave, so to speak.
Yeah,
that we were
right.
going to have to pick up all
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
momentum.
Yeah.
That there are a lot of people seeing that as an encouragement to continue launching further. Which is great, and that's why we continue to talk about it. And in related news, over the weekend, the top European Human Rights Court, the European Court of Human Rights, ruled that international human rights law requires governments to provide legal recognition for same-sex couples. It was based on a lawsuit brought in Italy, because Italy is the only country in Western Europe that has no legal recognition for same-sex couples at all.
Oh.
The influence of the Catholic Church, and the Prime Minister there has been working hard to at least get civil unions on the books. It's interesting because this applies to all of the European Union, but also anyone else that's signed on with the European Court, which includes like Turkey and Russia. I don't think we're going to see them go, "Oh, well, you said so, we need to change what we're doing."
Probably not.
But again,
Italy is a big ground for change right now.
Yeah, and it shows momentum.
Yeah.
You know, all of these things worldwide are sort of culminating together. What happened in Ireland, leading to us, leading to the movement that's happening in Australia, leading to this decision,
Yeah.
that there really is a groundswell happening internationally. which is really exciting.
And how am I going to retire in Florence if they don't get their gay rights together?
That is really important. I mean, that's really what it comes
really
down
what
to.
it comes
What do you
down
do
to.
about vacationing and like renting a vacation home?
I mean, I want to be under the Tuscan sun with another man.
Yes.
Is that too much to ask?
Are you Diane Lane in this scenario?
Kind of,
Okay,
yes.
that's fine.
Yes.
That's a good. Have you guys seen that movie?
Will you be
Yes.
Sandra Oh?
Okay.
I'm probably Sandra Oh. Yes, of course I've seen it.
I like saw it on a rainy afternoon one time on like Oxygen or something, and it was like so good.
Yeah.
I went backpacking in Italy for 3.5 weeks years ago, and I was like, I get it. I
Oh,
like by
yeah.
myself. I didn't go to any other country. I just went town to town
Oh,
to town
yeah.
to town to city in Italy, and I was like, yep, I get it. That's why people retire here.
Love Italy.
Late breakfast, walk through the cobblestone streets, do a little something in the afternoon, have a dinner, sit and drink wine in the vineyard.
Eat, love, love.
Yes.
Eat, love, eat.
Eat, love, eat, sleep.
And do it the same thing the next day.
Yes.
And the day after that,
Eat,
the
love,
after
sleep.
that. Yeah.
That'd be mine. And of course the clerk wars and the marriage equality wars continue. We've talked about Davis County clerk, the 4 times married clerk. Her trial is underway, and she said that she had prayed about it for several months, and that's why she just doesn't feel comfortable issuing any marriage licenses. She's not even willing to let one of the underclerks issue it in her name because it would be her name on it.
She also said she fasted, which I found amusing.
She's sticking to her guns.
She is.
She is.
She is.
God bless her.
Well, the ACLU is fighting that fight. It's back to that thing of like, I'm sorry I don't get to be a trash collector and be like, but I just really don't want to collect trash on this one street because I don't like it.
yeah.
Because like I don't like somebody who
Yeah.
lives there, so I'm just gonna skip that one. I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna do that part of my job. But pay me.
Yeah.
Thanks. 2 Alabama counties finally relented and are issuing marriage licenses again after the 25-day wait that they were hoping some sort of weird miracle would happen. And a Mississippi town has gone further, banning same-sex wedding announcements in their newspaper. They issued a memo informing all of their writers of a new company policy stating the company had made a decision not to accept engagement or wedding announcements from same-sex couples. It went on to say that employees could also not share their feelings on the issue in columns or on their personal social media because they are so connected to the newspaper and people would read their opinions and perceive them to be the opinions of the newspaper.
Do people still read newspapers?
I do.
Well, I'm more interested to see if, the big annual wedding book magazine that comes out every year in
Yes.
Mississippi, I'm wondering if they're going to allow LGBT unions in that because, that's the thing you have to get in.
That might take a minute.
Because it's, it's not
okay.
society if it doesn't make the book. I'm
Nah.
telling you, if you've never seen one, it's the size of a
haven't.
September issue of Vogue.
Oh, really?
And it comes out every year. It's
Wow.
everybody who got married.
I feel like that'll take a minute. I'm just saying. But it was interesting because the same paper censorship rule apparently did not apply to the newspaper's owner, Clay Foster, because 2 days later he published a column about why gay marriage is contrary to God's word. There's not enough room in this column to cover all that God says about homosexuality, Foster wrote, but note a few passages, and then of course he trotted out Leviticus and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I get it. The owner doesn't like it, so nobody can talk about it. But it's interesting, like, you're going to tell newspaper reporters they can't express their opinions on their personal social media when the entire concept of your business is freedom of the press and opinion.
And that's also hilarious because there absolutely is room in a column to cover everything that the Bible says
I was
about
just about to say.
homosexuality. It's
Yeah, I
like
was about to
7
say.
verses.
It's actually not a lot.
It's not that much.
It really
It's like
isn't.
7 verses.
Yeah.
You could do like
So-
1 page in Times New Roman 14 font double space, and you could fit everything
you
in.
better have it all figured out.
Yes. Bless their bigoted hearts. Speaking of,
Oh.
I know. Well, I
Speaking
feel
of
like
bigots,
well, bless
No,
their
bless
bigoted
their
hearts.
bigoted hearts.
So I've said it on the radio show forever and ever. It's my laughing response at like those kind of people that are just so extreme that it's not worth engaging with them anymore because
Sure.
we won on this particular issue.
definitely.
So I designed a T-shirt that says "Bless their bigoted hearts" with like a rainbow of hearts underneath it, because people had said, "Like, why don't you make the things that you say into merchandise?" And
Yeah.
it's clearly learning at the feet of Del Shores, who has mastered the art of merchandising.
Sure.
The things that you say. So I created a T-shirt on Teespring that you can see. John's put it up in the chat room. It's just a simple black V-neck with a little rainbow of hearts and "Bless their bigoted hearts" on it.
Snaps for you.
And you can get it in gay extra small, which is really exciting.
Well, I had to pick, but I had to pick a shirt line. It goes from extra small to 2XL because I had to pick one that was small enough that I could wear it. I was like, what's the point of me designing a T-shirt I can't
that you
wear?
can't wear.
That's
Yes.
true.
So if you're interested and you want to join our little club, they put timelines. They are available for 5 more days. So by next week's show, it will be over for this first attempt. You can go to teespring.com, T-E like T-shirt, teespring.com/bigoted hearts, and you're welcome to get it and wear it with pride. I didn't put my name on it anywhere or anything, so you can just giggle your way down the streets of the South, laughing at the bigots.
Or you can write your own name on it.
That's the end of my personal
Sure.
commercial. Yes, you can write your
Yeah,
own
good
name.
for you, Emerson.
Claim
That's
it for
awesome.
yourself.
Get a paint pen.
All right, and
Little
moving
puff
on.
paint.
Yes, get a little puff paint. Yes.
Like glittery puff paint.
Yes, you can make
Oh
it
my
your own.
gosh.
You can bedazzle the hearts. You
Customize.
can rip it. You can shred it. You can turn it into one of those weird workout sleeveless tees.
Yes, the bib tees. Oh, Matthew,
Yeah.
we should have a party and like
Cut it
decorate,
yourself. I was wearing
one
decorate
earlier
ours.
today.
Oh my god.
These are the important. So I
Okay.
like to provide a variety. So
This
this one,
sounds like so much fun, Blake.
this one is done okay. So I'm actually considering making another couple of t-shirt options. So we'll
Work.
see if that happens.
Yay.
Love
All
it.
right. I rearranged the show order a little today because in the big week of news, one of the biggest things happened last week. So we will move to our trendsettera segment. Trendsettera.
Trendsettera,
Yeah.
trendsettera.
I mean, a little bit of
trendsettera.
wordplay, but it's also a reminder. We talked about after marriage equality that it is really important, particularly for the LGBT part of our community, to be supportive of trans rights and
Of
equality.
our tea.
Yes, and so we've made a whole news segment about it, and of course we need to kick it off. Last week, Wednesday night, I watched a sports ball award show
Yeah.
in order to
Shocking.
see Caitlyn Jenner
It
give a
was
speech
shocking.
at
Britney
the
Spears
ESPY
was
Awards.
there.
Okay, now
Brittany was there.
I gotta be honest. I watched this 3-hour award show in 33 minutes. You know, a minute and a half to see Britney speak, and then the
Yeah.
30 minutes that was the Caitlyn Jenner short
Right.
film and then speech. So I didn't
Yeah.
actually see what else happened. They kept doing cutaways,
Right.
and I was like, "Are those seat fillers or sports ball
I
people?"
watched
Because
some.
I don't know
I watched
any of
some
them.
of it, but I can't wait for the West Coast anymore. So the second Caitlyn's speech was up, I just looked on Twitter to watch it before
Yeah.
it even aired here on the West Coast, and then I watched it again.
And what did you think?
I thought it was incredible. I mean, that segment was so long in a really, really good way. I mean, like the whole thing I think is like 25 minutes without
Yeah.
commercial. I want to say where you get that. But what was so interesting, I hate to like rain on the parade or whatever, but I got a lot of hate on my social media because I posted a picture of the quote where she said, "Say whatever you want about me, I can take it, but don't say it to like I don't know, like younger."
Here, I've got
question."
it.
Yeah, that quote.
If you want to call me names, make jokes, doubt my intentions, go ahead, because the reality is I can take it. But for the thousands of kids out there coming to terms with being true to who they are, they shouldn't have to
Right.
take it.
Two things that bothered me. I posted that on Instagram immediately and on my Twitter, and I got things saying whatever, like he's a freak, like literally those comments. I'm like,
Whoa.
did you not just literally read what she said? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then also I have all these people who like favorite and like all of my stuff, and I know that they do, and then they just disappeared when that one showed up. So I was so disappointed actually in Twitter and Instagram and not my followers, but like the people that, because it's usually a pretty younger fan base that follows
Right.
me or whatever, that more people weren't on board for it, because I thought it was absolutely incredible and brought me to tears, and
Totally.
especially if you sit and watch the thing all the way through. And I have such mad respect for her. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I also really loved the nod to Diane Sawyer and really acknowledging the fact, a lot of people were kind of shady about that on the internet, being like, oh, it was an ABC tie-in and blah, 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 ESPN and
Yeah.
Disney and whatever. I'm like, no, I really don't think so. I think that was really just a genuine sweet moment. I mean, Caitlyn was genuinely moved.
Well, and I found it interesting, and I think it speaks to your point. I've talked before on the show. It was really only like 2 years ago that I really sat down and really started to educate myself on trans people and the trans experience. I mean, I was familiar. I know what it is, and I have encountered trans people and known people acquaintance-wise. But even as a gay man, to like really understand what the experience is and read about the stories and read about what they go through and to learn about the crime and
Yeah.
and the way that they are treated, with reparative therapy and all of that kind of thing. And so when we arrived at this moment, we all knew a lot about it. Well, I think even for your younger fan base, Caitlyn Jenner's the first person they know that they're experiencing this with. And it's what I found so impressive about this speech, because she's gotten a lot of criticism really from both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
From the extreme right, who extreme conservatives who think all of this is crazy, but also from people at the far, far left who feel like she's very privileged, that she's not connected to the community, that they were worried this is all about publicity and would just be about her. So I feel like the way she spoke to that, and I get that. I can't imagine being a trans person and worrying that everyone's going to think every trans journey is like Caitlyn's.
Right.
But the way she spoke to both ends of that and talked
Yeah.
about trans women of color and talked about the murders, I found that she's clearly doing research. I found it really enlightening when she said, until I came out, I did not know another
Right.
trans person.
Yeah,
so
that's
her
really
journey
important.
Yeah.
was very very internal.
Yeah.
It was only by
Lonely.
herself. And it also shows how much work she's done in these months to connect with the community, to understand the issues that are important to them. And so I loved her saying, you can doubt my intentions, all of that. And I said,
Right.
to anybody that does, yeah, but she's standing up there talking about it, and she made a room full of sports figures.
Exactly.
Listen.
That's what I thought
Stand.
was so especially special about it, was for me, like growing up, sports was this world that was so terrifying.
Yes.
And you were shoved into, and you were supposed to find what sport you're good at, whether you are or not, and just, constant bullying nonstop.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so in the world of sports, supports this is happening. Like anyone who has any question about her or you have to watch that, and you're watching, you know, the ESPYs, and she is there. I think that's so exciting, and so like encouraging to someone like me if I had been like 8 years old, like watching that stuff. You know
definitely.
what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, and of course she's gonna make missteps. We all do. We're all human beings.
Yeah.
But like the way that she has handled this, whether it's a team guiding her of trans people and publicists and crafting the statements she's making are extremely important and extremely relevant and extremely correct in so many ways.
Yeah.
All leading up to
well researched, well thought out, eloquent, really great representation.
all leading up to the premiere of her series on Sunday night.
I know.
Which
Cannot
I
wait.
cannot wait
I
for.
know. I'm so excited.
I mean,
about
first
that.
of all, they are producing the hell out of these commercials. I mean, it is like
They are.
Oh, it looks like Ken Burns presents
Ryan
Yes.
Seacrest,
Caitlyn Jenner.
smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man that Ryan Seacrest is.
Yes.
You don't agree?
I think a different group of people is involved in crafting this particular
Sure.
image. It is so completely different from the
Sure.
approach of the rest of the family's show.
Yeah.
Like even the way it looks, the way it's shot, the way it's everything. I think Caitlyn has taken control of a lot and been like, these are the people I want. I'm sure they're from all of the E-world, but I feel like she is running this ship and telling other people what she wants to achieve.
So excited to watch it.
But which relates to a story that Blake brought to the show. Do you want to talk about it, or you want me to do the lead-in?
Yeah, go ahead and do the lead-in, and then we'll
So
get into
leading
the
up to it,
specifics.
after it, Dr. Drew held a panel discussing whether the award was deserved, which I feel like that's a separate issue, and lots of people on social media, and like let's boil that down. And like courage means different things to all of us, and people can be equally courageous for different reasons, and it becomes apples and oranges when you're talking about giving one award to one person.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so that's neither here nor there.
Dr. Drew had on trans pilot and reporter Zoe Tur, along with Ben Shapiro, who's a senior editor at Breitbart News. Ben attacked Caitlyn, saying every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male, with the exception of some of his sperm cells. He hit the pronoun and reiterating the male pronouns, even after being told it was being disrespectful. And he turned to Zoe and said, "What are your genetics?" And Zoe said, "You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance," with her hand on her shoulder. Ben went on to say, the entire discussion is, are we embracing mental illness and delusion as a society, calling Zoe Tur sir in the process.
Yeah.
Well, following that, Ben Shapiro filed a report on Sunday with the LAPD calling Zoe's hand on his back and neck during the statement battery. Filed a police report.
And literally, it was this in the video. Like,
So if you're watching
you
on the
cut
camera,
that out right now. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
No more attacked. No more battered than I just battered you.
Yeah.
It's shocking. What's so upsetting to me about Ben Shapiro is that we're a year apart in age. We both graduated from UCLA. There's like a lot of similarities in our sort of upbringing, and it makes me so sad to see how ridiculously he's taken his conservatism to such a level that is just it's horrifying. Like it's bigotry at its finest, and people are listening to him. They're buying his books. They're I looked up some of his work on Amazon, and it's just shocking. He wrote the big The People versus Barack Obama. Like, he literally wants to bring Obama on trial for criminal charges for his presidency. I mean, it's so crazy, but people are listening.
Yeah.
But get to what you were talking about.
Well, the thing that upsets me the most about this is in him using the word battery, it's such an insult to any trans woman or cisgender woman who's ever actually been a victim of violence.
Yeah.
It's an insult.
That's
it's a
really good
slap in their
point.
face.
That's a really
and it's
good
just
point.
it's ridiculous. And I hope the police just laugh in his face because it's
ridiculous.
preposterous.
Yeah.
Well, and since we all watched the evidence, I'm sure it will disappear quickly. But
I'm
yes,
sure.
it shows his desire for attention out of the discussion. And in related, it's continuing in Transcetera. The article came out that said that now Siri clearly supports trans issues on the iPhone
love it.
because now if you ask anything about Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner's height or age, you get general answers. But if you ask about Jenner's real name or gender identity, Siri is not having it. If you ask what is Bruce Jenner's real name, you get the full name of Caitlyn Jenner is Caitlyn Jenner. If you ask is Bruce Jenner transgender, you get the answer is female.
I love it.
That's
I
amazing.
Love it.
And
Work,
I love
Siri.
whoever, and that's programmed. And I love that the people at Apple like really went in and thought of the different variations that people could be doing in order to trip Siri up and planned great answers in support of Caitlyn.
Yeah.
I like that.
And speaking of, people worried about Caitlyn being the only people that people see, we've talked before on the show about Becoming Us, that's on the ABC Family Channel.
Which I watched.
Doing a great job of showing actually a very similar journey to Caitlyn's, but from just a regular person in a regular family.
Yeah.
And the flip side is TLC last week premiered a show called I Am Jazz about a 14-year-old trans girl at the very beginning of the journey and that
which was amazing.
I have it on my
loved
DVR. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm so excited to watch it.
It's so great.
And that show dove right in. I mean, they got
Oh, yeah.
immediately into talking about like the issues of puberty blockers. They got into talking. They talked very specifically about anatomy stuff and Jazz's experience. You know, she's a 14-year-old girl being willing to share this journey, and they talk about like what about her bone growth, and they took us to her doctor's appointment.
Yeah,
you know,
that was amazing when you got to go
really
into the
looking
doctor's
forward to
appointment, and it
seeing
wasn't creepy. Like the mom was so supportive and so open-minded and so just well spoken about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Jazz is brilliant and articulate and hilarious, and also just a regular 14-year-old girl that's very smart and very aware.
Yeah.
She has all the regular issues of a 14-year-old girl, and being willing to share them. I feel like there's such a great thing happening in pop culture about showing a wider variety of trans stories.
Yeah.
So that no one person has to carry the mantle. You know, it's not just on Janet Mock or Laverne Cox to carry. You know, we have all these different pieces contributing to a much broader representation.
Yeah.
And to see a young trans person dealing with it is such a great
Sure.
thing as
So
well.
great.
I can't wait to watch
yeah,
it.
but check that out. It's
Yeah.
on TLC. I believe it's on Wednesday night. I believe it's actually on tonight.
What's
check
it?
check your local listings. I am Jazz.
I am Jazz.
Jazz
I am
Jennings.
Kate. I am Jazz. Setting my DVR.
Yeah, so ending Trendsettera, it's time to flash through the gay news.
Oh,
We all know that I'm a television junkie. I consider it all research for our job on the People's Couch, so I'm not just being lazy.
Yeah, of
okay, I'm
course.
being a little bit lazy, but I watch entirely too much television. So the Emmy nominations came out on Thursday morning. Are we excited?
Yes.
Do we care?
Yes, we're
I have some
excited.
thoughts.
I'm excited. You spelled Claire Danes wrong on the sheet. So
Oh,
bye.
I was typing really
Oh.
fast.
Oh,
Well, it's funny when I write stories where like I don't need to know the information.
Clark
yeah,
Dance, Clark
all
Dance.
sorts of typos.
Clark.
Shut it. Well, to kick off,
I knew he would like that. Sorry.
the HBO, of course, was the huge leader, and there were 24 nominations for Game of Thrones. In the
Wow.
drama category, we had Game of Thrones, Better Call Saul, Homeland, Downton Abbey, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, and Mad Men.
Give Mad Men everything. Just give it everything.
I think it's so
everything,
fascinating that
everything.
Orange is the New Black is
It's
a drama
still
this year.
weird. It's still weird, and I think it ruined the nomination for the actresses because drama is such a different
Oh,
category
yeah,
of
it's
like
true.
True.
what kind of scenes get you nominated.
That's true.
I mean, I'm glad it's there and it deserves to be nominated, but
Yeah.
I think it messed with their.
That's a tricky one though. Is it a comedy or is it a drama? That's
Well,
a good
I think
point.
it's
It's
as
a
much
dramedy. I mean,
Yeah,
mean,
it's like Glee.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It's almost like they need the dramedy category at some point.
Yeah.
we really do because we're getting more and more of them. Remember when it was just Ally McBeal?
That was
the
it,
only
the one
dramedy
dramedy
on television.
Yeah.
And in comedy, of course, Modern Family, Veep, Silicon Valley, Parks and Rec, Transparent, and The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And see, it's like Transparent's definitely a dramedy as well.
Oh,
It's like-
definitely. Yeah,
It's not like
it's
ha,
not
ha,
straight
ha,
up
hilarious.
comedy.
About to say.
There's some ironic situational humor, but
I'm thrilled that Kimmy Schmidt got in.
yes. And Titus got a nomination.
Yes, that is
Work.
the only that's the one I want to win. Titus
Yeah.
Burgess nominated for supporting actor for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt deserves all of the awards. Just genius, brilliant, because he managed to play what is written intentionally to be all kinds of gay stereotypes, like in a funny way.
Yeah.
And lived in all of them and made them all
Really
real and showed them how and why some of us are stereotypes, but are more than that.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the way they wrote him was brilliant, and how he took it even further in the performance made it a human being I know.
Yeah.
Like, I know him.
Definitely.
And
Netflix
of course,
killing it.
in drama actor, Blake, you can carry the torch for this is John Hamm's last
He
chance
has
to win.
He has to win. He
Isn't
absolutely
John doesn't have an
has
H in
to
it,
win.
right? It's just Jon.
Wow,
Are
so
you
much
enjoying
shade. So much shade. I don't care how you spell it. I just want his name on that envelope.
The H is silent regardless.
That's true. Sorry.
Jonam.
And in the drama actress category, we super exciting things. For the first time ever, 2 African American women nominated, with Miss Taraji P. Henson and Ms. Viola Davis.
Yes,
Work.
God.
I mean, Viola gets it.
And
Let's be
Tatiana
honest.
if they could
Maslany.
tie, that would be amazing.
No, because like Cookie is great, but
Cookie's
like,
great, but it's Viola's.
but it's
Viola's
but like,
performance.
Yeah,
yes.
it's hard
I
not to
mean,
give it to
Cookie is
Viola.
like
She's-
chewing the scenery off the television, but Viola Davis wins for why is your penis on a dead girl's phone?
What exciting careers both of them have, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like
mean-
the trajectory of their careers and like where they've
Yes.
gone and where they're going is so exciting.
incredible.
But, and as much as I love both of them, the great achievement this year was that Tatiana Maslany
Maslany.
was
Yes.
finally nominated
Praise.
for playing 700 women on
Yes.
Orphan Black.
Literally.
And
Did you guys watch
a
Orphan
trans
Black?
man once.
Oh,
There was
Oh,
the
that's
trans man
right.
episode in
That's
season
right.
2.
I haven't made it that far, I guess.
Yeah, they only once, but there was one that was a trans man.
Come on. Tatiana
I mean, it was
Maslany,
amazing.
guys.
Like, and it's exquisite. Like, it is.
What if she won? How cool would that be?
And she should get to give 7 speeches.
Yeah, maybe.
If she wins, can they just please play "I'm Every Woman" as she's walking?
Yes.
Whitney's version, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
In the comedy actress category, we have Amy Schumer, who's like tearing the face off of
It's
everything.
a good year to be
so
gay
deserved.
and Amy Schumer.
And Amy
Yes.
Schumer, yes.
Lily Tomlin was nominated, but no Jane Fonda
Sad
for Grace and
travesty.
Frankie.
That is a Travisham mockery.
And I'm kind of surprised. I almost would have. They're both exquisite, but I almost would have flipped it.
I would too, and I love Lily to death, but I think Jane is the heart and soul of that show.
Well, and giving the more Lily is brilliant, but I think
totally
Jane is
brilliant.
giving the more complicated performance.
Absolutely.
But Lisa Kudrow for the comeback and Amy Paul, like this is the cat. Like this
It's
is the
crazy.
My
category.
timeline was all about Lisa Kudrow. My
Yes.
timeline was full of people saying if she doesn't win, then I quit everything.
Oh.
Supporting drama actress, the only Orange is the New Black nomination for Uzo Aduba. And it is. It's just I think so many of them should be nominated. Kate
Yeah.
Mulgrew and like that.
I feel like
stand for Taylor Schilling on this show.
Oh yeah, I feel like Uzo. She had such a fantastic first season, and in my opinion, MIHO, in my humble opinion, in the second and third season, they didn't give her stuff that's good.
I agree.
That's not that
Yeah,
great.
the material didn't.
I think she did.
rise to meet
She's
her.
a fantastic actress.
Yes, but I didn't think the second or the third season that her storyline or performance rose above all the others
I don't
to
either.
continue to be the one that's singled
Yeah,
out. I think it's a
yeah.
wealth of riches.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they should win all the ensemble awards there
That
ever
is
are.
such a big cast. Wow, that cast.
But when Christina Hendricks wins in that category, I will be very excited.
And Amelia Clark and Lena Headey both for Game of Thrones, and this isn't the like Walk of Shame season.
It's not.
which is when she
oh,
should win.
that's when she'll win.
And then of course supporting comedy actress Jane Krakowski for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is exquisite.
Come on.
And so well earned. Kate McKinnon for SNL, which is really exciting, and Niecy Nash and Getting On,
Amazing.
which I love that. And of course American Horror Story swept like a billion awards. The show got nominated, Jessica Lange got nominated, Dennis O'Hare and Finn Whitrock, which I was really excited
Good for
about.
him.
He deserved
Yeah, he
that
does.
Because
nomination.
He's
he
so
made
good.
that season.
Gosh, he's
he
so
really
The
good.
did.
performance was so big,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
had to trust the directors and the editors so much, and he was so committed the whole season. That was
Yeah.
my favorite nomination.
Yeah.
But this is the season
He's so
Sarah Paulson
fantastic.
should win for.
Absolutely.
Sarah Paulson.
I
you
mean,
guys.
can't say
Come
enough
on.
about Sarah
Everything
Paulson.
and all of the above.
Come on.
And of course, So You Think You Can Dance and Cat Deely were
So You Think
nominated.
You Can
Yes.
Dance.
And all of the choreography nominations were from So You Think You Can Dance alumni.
Oh.
Whitney Carson and the Huffs were both nominated for Dancing with the Stars, but
But they're both.
Yeah.
oh
So
no,
you think-
Julianne was. They were never on. They're the only ones.
Julian and Derek were not.
But then
Whitney-
Travis Wall, Sonia Tayo, and Spencer Liff all nominated for So You Think You
Yay.
Can Dance.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
for them.
Amazing.
And flashing on, super exciting news. RuPaul's Drag Race announced officially today that season 2 of All Stars will be happening next year, though.
I know.
Hunty.
Better
Wait,
late than never.
Next year. Okay, but like, spill the tea. Like, who has to be on it?
Willem.
He's already, he said he's not officially. He announced it on Tumblr.
Well, what I was like, I could just text him, but I was just like stalking him online.
Yeah,
Literally.
me too.
Because I think what he said was that other people have been asked, but he hasn't been asked yet.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
if you guys go on like literally social media, Willem is number 1. Am I
Oh,
wrong?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
across all.
Entertainment Week, everyone's going wild. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, but I think part of it is I think they worry that this makes sense. You kind of can't control Willem.
Yeah, but come on, it'd be great TV.
Amazing.
Yes.
TV.
Come
I
on,
mean,
guys.
TV.
You know he would just walk out in the middle again just because.
Ah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like
Maybe.
so putting Willem aside, obviously you have to have Willem.
I feel like
so
I
who
have to
else?
work backwards. I'm the Katya and Trixie from last
Katya
season.
from
Katya
Katya
has
from
to
this
be on
season
there.
Would be a
Katya
favorite
is definitely for me.
Don't you agree?
Yes.
Totally. Katya is kind of the only one I have to have from this season if I look
Yeah.
at all of the seasons.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
Now I'll be curious to see if they're willing to do repeats from the last.
Because if so, then Latrice needs to be
Latrice.
back.
Latrice and Pandora.
Forever.
Pandora got
Pandora.
royally screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like going
That's
home
true.
early with
Justice
that one
for Pandora.
that wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I would love to see Latrice though.
Alaska
Alaska.
has to be there.
Alaska, for sure.
For me, we have to have Laganja and Alyssa both.
House of Edwards.
Both. The entire House of
Actually,
Edwards.
Alyssa has
has
to
to be on there.
Alyssa, Shangela, and Laganja.
all
Put
three.
the entire House of
Yep.
Edwards.
Angela has to be on there.
House of
doesn't she?
Edwards.
But see, my thing is, I just want comedy queens at this point, like Darian Lake and Pandora. Like I want, and who else?
See, I like them young and pretty and dumb.
That's okay. Well, I think you need to put Pearl back in just for the
Yeah.
for that.
Do you think
crowd.
Adore
For the
could go
youth
back
factor.
in?
Oh yes.
Oh, most definitely adore.
Adore,
Pearl
I
and
have such a
Adore
crush on
to
Adore.
represent the young, to represent
Yeah.
the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Entertainment Weekly had an article about it today. It's like, will they glean them from the later seasons? And they said, are season 1 through 4 too dusty? That was the quote.
That is shady.
Too dusty.
I haven't even seen season 1 before, actually. That was before I knew what I was.
Was Angina
who I
season
was.
1?
No.
Season 2?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember season 1 either.
But like Alaska has to be in.
At
I would love
100%.
Alaska, adore Trixie, Katya, come on, Latrice.
Just always Latrice.
Latrice.
I mean, let's be honest. And Pork Chop.
Pork chop. I would love pork chop.
Yes.
Sure, why not?
And always Latrice. Let's be honest. It
Latrice
doesn't matter who
forever.
it is. Like, there's no bad choices.
It's so exciting to see, though. I follow all of them on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. How their careers have evolved and their, like Alaska's music videos, the stuff that she comes out with, and how like elevated they've all gotten.
Oh, totally.
And on top of their game, how exciting that season's going to be. I know we're going to have to wait like forever. And I'll
forever
survive
in
until
3
then,
weeks.
but. Oh, man.
It's exciting. Drag queens are my Disneyland. I've said it before.
For sure.
Sunday night, I went to see the drag show at the Rose Room at S4 because one of the scenes in A Very Sordid Wedding takes place there, and it's my favorite drag show in the entire country. And Alyssa Edwards was the special guest.
No.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh,
You
that's
didn't
right.
see the
I like
picture of
I
them?
like the
Oh my
picture.
gosh.
That's right.
I periscoped the whole thing. I was like,
Oh,
yes!
it's pretty great.
Oh my gosh.
You could barely hear the music over his yes.
All right, we could just do a whole show about Drag Race.
We really
Flashing
could.
on. This story is nutballs. Kenzie Kilpatrick is a gay 26-year-old in the UK who launched a private Facebook page called Drama Free UK Sperm Donors, which he uses to connect with women looking for sperm donors, but who don't want to go through the trouble or expense of dealing with a sperm bank. Basically, after being contacted by women, he shows up to meet with them either at their home or a hotel room. He produces the sample, if you will, and then the women artificially inseminate themselves using a syringe. It seems to be working because he has fathered 10 children with 9 couples in the last 13 months.
Whoa. That's a lot of babies.
Sir,
Wow.
that is a lot. Now, here's my question.
Is it like a turkey-based one?
A syringe, apparently. I know.
A syringe like a needle?
It's like that old school kind. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I don't know. Why are you looking at me?
I am not a surrogacy expert.
I don't know.
Here's my question, though. Are all these kids like in the same town, or are they all over the UK? Because this could be real awkward when there is a kindergarten full of his children.
all his
gosh.
all these half siblings.
Spread across all of Europe.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you look like me. That's so weird.
And if this man has
Wow.
like dominant genes,
right, like it
It's
could be
you
like
look familiar. Are you my sister?
10 children
You
with
are,
the
aren't
same
you?
face
Kenzie
shape.
Kirkpatrick. Yeah.
No, I mean that's nice of him to
Kilpatrick,
do.
sorry.
I mean, I hope he's dealing with the legal stuff and like making
Yeah,
sure
'cause
he's not
that's-
going to get sued for
yeah.
child support or.
That sounds
well,
messy.
yeah, it
pun
does.
Or intended.
I mean, that's going to be real awkward if those kids are playing doctor behind the monkey bars, like with a half sibling, and they don't know.
Ew.
You show me mine, I'll show you yours.
Kenzie Kilpatrick.
I'm just saying, sir, apparently he's done, which is nice. He's going to be willing to continue to donate to these same families if they want to have siblings that are related, but he's closed down his account, his campaign.
Did he
I
make a ton of
guess.
money?
No, he did it for free. All they had to pay was like airfare and accommodations if they weren't local to him. So it really was a service.
And then he brought his own porn.
He wanted to
produce the specimen.
He just wanted to continue to propagate his genes, and I guess he was worried about not
not
living
able to-
on.
Okay. all
Okay.
right. Okay.
That's fine, I guess.
Tell,
Right?
tell
get
your
it. I
story,
get it. It's
Kenzie,
just
Mr.
weird.
Kilpatrick.
Okay.
But seriously, like, I kind of want there to be a reality show about the Kilpatrick
these kids.
The-
Yeah.
It works, KK, the Kilpatrick kids.
Yeah.
In the UK.
Uh-huh.
That's
Ryan
Almost
Seacrest,
too many
give this
Ks.
guy a call.
It
I
sounds
know,
like
one
a few
more
years
K.
out.
I just got
we'll have like
uncomfortable.
All Stars 3 before we get to that show, I feel
Right.
like, though.
One more K and it's racist.
I
So
know, so careful.
Yeah.
stop
With a
there.
K.
Another exciting achievement over the weekend. Thomas Roberts became the first openly gay anchor of the nightly news. He anchored the nightly news on NBC. His lead story was, of course, about Donald Trump and the insulting the war record of John McCain. But that's a really exciting achievement. He is a very successful news anchor. He regularly works on MSNBC. A handsome, strapping nightly
Yes,
news
Thomas
anchor-looking
Roberts.
man.
Yeah.
And a really big achievement, you know. We have Anderson Cooper and Rachel Maddow, of course, but like for it to be on primetime network
Totally.
news and Don Lemon, but that is a
Don't forget
an-
Sam Champion,
Yes.
Sam Champion.
my favorite bleach blonde news anchor.
Perfect.
I'll have to Google.
But another glass ceiling broken through. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Thomas Roberts, and he's an
Work.
excellent anchor. In Saturn news, Benjamin Hutchinson is a pastor at Cassopolis United Methodist Church in Southwest Michigan. And when he joined as the pastor, it was on the verge of shutting down. He quadrupled the church's attendance in the first 8 weeks of preaching
Wow.
there. So he evidently was doing something right. He did more than that, attending regular county and village meetings and connecting with his community beyond the pulpit. Well, after 3 years as the church's pastor, last week the district bishop asked him officially if he had a partner as a gay man. He admitted that he did, and they gave him the option of resigning last Monday night or he would be fired. Now, the congregation said it was well known that he was gay and that he had a long-term partner. And the congregation is speaking out in his defense. They said the church was dying when he came here, that it wasn't far from closing his doors, and people knew. Another pastor said he's a great guy. The community will suffer a great loss with him gone. What his personal life is his personal business. The pastor said, I've never been shy about it, and I won't hide it. Monty Hutchinson is my life partner, and that's who he is to me. And it's really sort of sad because it's clear the congregation
I don't
knew.
know these people, but I love them.
Yeah. I mean, and they loved him and loved what he did for their community and their church. And there are Methodist churches that are very open and accepting, but this supports, that is not an official part of their doctrine.
Not all the way across the board, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too bad. I love you, Benjamin Hutchinson. I don't know you, but I love you.
And so he was like, well, I guess I can go get married now this weekend because it happened right after marriage equality. But there are many great churches, and clearly this is one that is ready to move forward. And so hopefully the major part of the United Methodist Church denomination will move forward and make it possible for him to be the pastor of his church again.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well, I know
upsets
this is
me.
important to you.
Yeah, I go to church. I
Yeah.
go to church on Wednesday nights. You know what I mean? And it's been I can think of one place in my entire life that I felt completely comfortable going to. Like, completely comfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like we're not human beings.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And we talk about it regularly when we do these kind of stories. More than almost half of LGBT people identify as some kind of Christian denomination,
on.
faith,
Yeah.
And are looking for church
Get it
homes
together, guys.
to be a part of. So
And UMC has been on the more free-thinking liberal side of it for quite some time, so it just
and have more free-thinking congregations.
absolutely
So this is
and-
clearly
and
more
ministers.
about the specific doctrine that's still a part of essentially the dogma of the faith at the national level. Well, flashing on. Fortunately, we are fortunate on this show because Donald Trump has managed to not actually say anything stupid about the LGBT community thus far, so we haven't had to talk about him since everyone else is.
Right.
So we're not gonna, except to say that I love this story. Fernanda Sosa is a 32-year-old 3D artist in Orlando, Florida, who grew up in Mexico. And in response to Donald Trump's comments about Mexican rapists, he decided to turn his anger into a product, namely a butt plug.
Uh-huh.
He made a fully colored material with a coarse finish and a delicate feel in the shape of Donald Trump. So you can order a Donald Trump butt plug. I love everything about that because he is so
Same.
full of shit.
Oh.
It is so appropriate.
Oh.
Apparently, also, this is not his first one. He often does it to ridicule people's homophobic views. He did Putin, he did Kim Jong-un, George Bush, Marco Rubio. He said mostly homophobe politicians and dictators. Other notable butt plugs he's designed include Ted Cruz, Fred Phelps, and
Ooh.
Phil Robertson of Duck Dynasty.
Wow, you can get yourself a whole collection.
I know, but it's
that is quite a hobby.
It's entertaining, but it's also awkward because in that very sexual moment, I don't know that you really want to think about Donald Trump being in your butt.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, yay. But it's kind of like those books you
It's
buy
like
at
a
Urban
novelty
Outfitters.
gift.
You don't ever
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
read them or
No,
use them. You
you
just
don't.
put them
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
coffee table
Yeah.
and laugh.
Right.
Yeah,
That's true.
Gag gift.
Well, also yesterday, the MTV VMA nominees were announced. We're sticking to pop culture because it fits well with our gay view. Miley Cyrus will be hosting.
Awesome.
Yay.
And there was lots of love for their Taylor Swift's Bad Blood video, Uptown Funk, and of course Beyonce's 7-Eleven video. The video of the year nominees were Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, featuring Kendrick Lamar, Mark Ronson, and Kendrick Lamar's All Right video. Well, Nicki Minaj went onto the Twitch yesterday because she had some things to say. She
Nikki.
tweeted out,
Nikita.
never one to shy away from sharing her opinion. She said, if I was a different kind of artist, Anaconda would be nominated for Best Choreo and Vid of the Year as well. When the other girls drop a video that breaks records and impacts culture, they get that nomination. If your video celebrates women with very slim bodies, you will be nominated for Vid of the Year. I'm not always confident, just tired. Black women influence pop culture so much but are rarely rewarded for it. Taylor Swift weighed in, saying, at Nicki Minaj, I've done nothing but love and support you. It's unlike you to pit women against each other. Maybe one of the men took your slot. Nicki tweeted back, huh? You must not be reading my tweets. Didn't say a word about you. I love you just as much, but you should speak on this. And she said, at Nicki Minaj, if I win, please come up with me. You're invited to any stage I'm ever on. Thoughts?
I have tons of thoughts. I
Share.
could go on and
Go,
on and on.
go, go.
Well,
So-
start with the Cliff Notes, maybe.
Basically, Piers Morgan has some things to say about this as well.
Yes, Piers Morgan
And
weighed
I-
in today
and I-
for clicks.
And if you get a chance to read that, that makes a lot of really good points. I mean, here's the thing. Being friends with someone who is very famous and a pop star, and I've been with her in situations where, like, about to tweet something, and I'm like, don't tweet mad. Like, don't do it. Because the second that's on the internet, you are completely responsible for what you say. Do
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And the thing is, I love Nicki Minaj. I love Taylor Swift. I love them both very much. But here's the thing. Beyonce's nominated for Best Video of the Year. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's like, who are these, women that she's talking about? You know what I mean? Of course it's pointed at Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? So of course Taylor's going to take it personally. And also, I mean, if this is like a race thing, Beyonce's nominated for Kendrick Lamar is nominated for Video of the Year. So it's not really
Bruno Mars.
Here was my interpretation. One, I think Nikki, good for you, Nikki. Speak your mind. Like your art is important to you. You make it the way you want to make it, and you put it out there. I think she made a good point in the wrong place. I think making her point specifically about this video nomination sort of neutralized it a little bit. She's talking about how when Black women celebrate the Black female body, that it doesn't receive the same kind of acclaim as when white women do the same things with their bodies that Black women are already doing.
Okay.
Like that, from that perspective, the way that like Miley twerks, and then suddenly white people have heard of twerking for the first time.
That makes sense.
I think that's the direction she's talking about, and that she used this video specifically, I think, is what sort of neutralized that impact, because there's no way to deny that she was speaking. I don't think she's mad at Taylor. I think she's mad at how that kind of body gets so much more recognition when it is working
That's
sexually.
a great point, Emerson. You're right, Emerson.
I don't think she's mad at Taylor. I think she's mad at the way the industry and people respond to their personal sexual expressions.
Yeah.
And that she came for Taylor's video. Taylor responded to the specific instance, and what Nikki was trying to say back to her was, it's not really about you in this video, it's about the culture and how it responds to the work we put out there.
Well, I think Nikki thought that she was making a much bigger political statement with the video than it was received.
Yes.
Like she was reclaiming, because even the sample, the My Anaconda Don't, like she's taking it and reclaiming it as opposed to sexual objectification.
And also,
but I don't think a lot of people read the video that way.
Yeah.
Well, but I do think she's right in that the point, you think about how often we see Black female bodies used in that way by Black male entertainers or by rap artists.
Right.
And that Nikki did it as the artist herself, makes it a celebration, like a video hoe quote in her video. Well, when she's doing it with them, it's a different kind of celebration. And so she was, I'm sure in her mind, and I think many, particularly Black females, from what I have been reading, read it as that.
Totally.
As she is owning it, and she is doing this, and when we do it ourselves, it's empowering. When you use us as a prop,
then it's
that is
just,
using our bodies to make money.
Those are really great points, Emerson.
So I think what Nikki was trying to say to Taylor was like, I'm not coming for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the issue today.
Right.
So, like, please step back, because let's not make this about that. And they were a lot of people were right, because then immediately people showed, like, crazy faces of Nikki with, like, sexy poses of Taylor, like the angry Black woman syndrome when she's being passionate about her work.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting. I mean, it's subjective, and if you don't like the video,
and also,
you don't like it.
No offense to anyone or anything, but the VMA nominations are essentially meaningless. Do you know what I mean? Like no one really cares. Like no offense, guys, but the people watch the VMAs for the performances. No one really cares.
It's a
about
concert.
Yes.
No one cares about the videos.
One more really quick fun story. Xena Warrior Princess is getting the reboot, and all I care about is that they figured out a way to put Lucy Lawless in it.
Amen.
Yeah, they will.
From the original.
They will.
I mean, it was like the great original lesbian tendency
Gosh, in
TV
2015,
series.
anything can happen.
Yes,
Anything
it
can
can.
happen.
Anything can come back
X-Files.
from the dead.
Continuing in fun stories, Portland has a dildo problem. Hundreds of dildos have suddenly started appearing on Portland's power lines with no explanation.
What?
Yeah.
The nunchuck phalluses, people are throwing them up, like tied up on strings,
Tied
like the way
together.
people throw like tennis shoes up there.
Yeah.
And so they're just dildos hanging from the power lines.
And nobody can figure it out.
So Portland has just become very sex positive, and no one knows why they're there or where
They
came
thought
from.
originally it was like a drug thing, because like some certain dealers, that's how they mark their territory with the shoes, but nope.
So,
and my favorite was the
Portlandia.
one article I read was like, and dildos are expensive, so whoever is doing that
he's
has
wasting a
some
lot of money.
funds behind them.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, y'all, if they're gonna do it, we should be throwing up there like Donald Trump butt plugs.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's hang those from the power
leftover
lines.
ones.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they all get finished.
Yeah, we're all done.
And it's,
God, that's funny.
and finally, checking in with crazy. This first story is actually a little bit terrifying. A Christian evangelist and social media personality, Joshua Feuerstein, is taking aim at marriage equality. In a video he posted to Facebook, he said the U.S. Supreme Court ruling legalizing same-sex marriage is not about equal rights, but about reconstitutionalizing a term so that now it opens up the door for left and liberals to come after Christianity. Of course, he talked about Sweet Cakes by Melissa. And he said, I've been telling you guys for a long time it's happening. Why are we backing down to the government and not drawing a line in the sand? They're coming after our First Amendment constitutional rights. Well, check this out. This is one pastor that will not bow. Why? And then he lifted a semi-automatic rifle into the frame and posed with it, saying, because my First Amendment right is guaranteed by my Second Amendment right. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's time we finally take a stand and say no more. We're not backing up any further. That's a little bit terrifying when you want to use a gun as an imagery to talk about that you disagree with what the Supreme Court decided about our civil rights. That
What were you
stops
thinking, Josh?
being a First Amendment discussion.
It becomes an act of revolution.
Well, and also becomes a genuine threat to what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Are you going to defend your property, or are you going to come out and attack people because you don't like this decision?
Use your brain. Use your brain that the Lord gave you, dude.
okay.
And finally and quickly, the Harlem pastor James David Manning, who we have talked about regularly, who talked about the semen in the Starbucks coffee and whatnot, has a new ridiculous thing, and I will just share the words. Okay. I want to ask you if you have ever been injected with the sodomite demon. I definitely have. Have you ever had that demon injected with you? If you have sexual intercourse with a man and he plants his semen inside of you, the semen enters your blood system. Not how it works. And whatever he has in his blood is in your blood. If he has a disease in his blood, through his semen is the cream of the blood. It's not.
Oh, God, I feel
Just
so
to be
sick.
clear.
I feel sick.
It is more powerful than blood. It can actually produce life. Semen. If it's diseased, you're going to get the disease. If a man injects himself in another man and injects his semen in him and he's crazy, that's going to get in his blood as well. And if demons are in him, you're going to get penetrated by demons. Now we're demon sex, I guess. Even kissing someone who has demons in their blood, that saliva can give you a disease. Sodomy has metastasized in Harlem. People on dates need to be very careful. Perhaps you first got introduced to these demons in your life, sodomy, when you had no defense. So I guess if you kiss somebody who's ever had anal sex, you have the sodomite demon inside of you.
Wow.
So something else for us to all be worried about.
Wait, before we kiss, do you have demons in your blood?
Sir, do you have the sodomite demon? Because I need to put on my anti-demon chapstick.
This has been a great date, but I don't want to kiss you goodbye. For
I hope
demons in
somebody
your
Demons.
introduces an anti-demon lip gloss, because my lip gloss is hot. My lip gloss is popping. Ladies and gentlemen, that is
Wow.
our show for the Gay View. As ever and always, thank you guys so much for joining us. Matthew Scott Montgomery, remind everybody where they can find you on the social media.
my Instagram is Matthew_Scott_Montgomery, and my Twitter is iRobotEugene. Don't ask, just follow it.
Yes, and Blake McIver.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake McIver. And my Facebook page, Blake McIver Official.
And if you haven't seen his video, check out This Is Who We Are on YouTube.
So
Share
good.
it with your friends. Buy it on iTunes. And as always, you can send me your hate tweets at Actually Emerson, or find me on my Facebook page at Emerson Collins Official. We appreciate you guys so much. We thank you for making us a huge hit show. Next week, of course, Del Shores will be back. Stick around. Up next on air with Tony Sweet. And of course, our good friend Ann Walker is always on later on this evening. So have a fantastic day listening to UBN Radio. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's UBNradio.com.